Monday Ramble.
Hi everybody, welcome to Sun Racing's Monday Ramble, looking back on the weekend's action. I'm delighted to be joined by Betway's Chad Yeomans to discuss what was a very informative weekend, I would say, headed of course by Dream of Dreams in the Hungerford Stakes. Now Chad, it was a most impressive victory, wasn't it? He won by 7th lengths. 7 furlongs is clearly absolutely fine for him, judged on that evidence. And I thought, having watched that he could even step up to a mile in time.
It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes these horses are campaigned over 6 furlongs and then they go up in trip, maybe not for the first time in his career, but they go up in trip and you think, I can't believe they haven't gone up sooner. The way he stays 6 furlongs, the way he stays on in his races anyway, I know he narrowly gets beaten in all the top sprints, suggests that he could go further. And I wonder if now is the time that they might try something like the Foray, or maybe even try a mile. But he was unbelievable, wasn't he? And before the race, I was slightly off put by the fact he's hit the crossbar more times than he's won. He's got himself to a rating of 117, and he's never won anything more than the listed race. So actually, when you look at the price and go 13-8, he's rated really highly for a horse who doesn't win. You could kind of take him on. But I think from the second the gates opened, it was a no contest. He was always going to win. Again, another good ride for Machine. He's ridden winner after winner after winner this weekend. You would kind of have to question the form. Looking at it now, Breathtaking Look was second. Symbolise. Really, there's a really nice race in Symbolise in third. Then you had Namos in fourth. Glorious Journey. Pierre Lepan just didn't show what they could have done. Surf Dance is probably not good enough. And then you've got the two that will probably be better in handicaps, History Writer and Lincoln Bright. So you would have to question the form, Bully. But you can only win Group 3s or Group 2s, or as it is, by 7 lengths if you've got the ability to do so, and he clearly has.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that. I mean, the form was probably below par for that kind of race, but as you say, he's obviously very much capable of holding his own in Group 1 company, as we've seen before. And I would be interested in him sticking up to a mile in time if they decide to go that way, because I think he'd have no problem with that extra furlong. But obviously, we'll see. And Sir Michael Stout is the man, and he knows best. Moving on now to another race at Newbury on Saturday. It was, of course, the Geoffrey Freer Stakes, which saw Hookham improve once again to land the Geoffrey Freer for Owen Burrows, who's having a cracking season so far. What did you make of that? I mean, the two pulled clear, didn't they? Him and Max Vega. And there were a couple of disappointments in behind. Mirando didn't run great. Do you think that the ground had much of an impact, or do you think Hookham is just the best in the race?
Well, a bit of both, really, Bully. I think the weather really made a fool out of everybody this week.
Yeah,
everyone thought that we were going to get loads and loads of rain at Newbury. Didn't happen. And it skipped Newmarket as well, where we were, and it was quick, and I think that does put paid to Mirando's chances. You could see from early he wasn't happy; it was much too quick for him. But when the ground is soft, or when it is like a swimming pool, he's going to be at his best, and you could see that. You could see that from a long way out. It just wasn't soft enough for him. The horses in behind, Sextant coming back off a layoff. I thought it was a tough race to come back in first time up this season. Communique just doesn't seem to be the same horse he once was. Tritonic, I think, needs to improve again, but he's probably about this rate. He was probably the 6th best horse in the race, I think, is fair. Alenac would probably be twice the price if it wasn't Stout and Murphy. So then you look at the top two in the betting, and I know you and me both like Max Vega and Hookham, and Hookham won very, very well. Max Vega may have got a bit closer. I know he's only beaten 2.5 lengths. May have stuck his neck out a little bit if he had a whip, if the jockey hadn't dropped his whip. A furlong out, it would have given him something to go with, but you can't take anything away from the winner. He was a really good winner at Royal Ascot, Bully, and he's come up and followed up here. And it's the 3-year-olds that really put this race to bed, didn't they, too?
Certainly did, mate. Yeah, I was very impressed with him. I think he's got a big future, actually, over staying distances. And great to see Owen Burrows, the really good horse. He fully deserves it. Moving on now to the Denford Stakes, formerly known as the Washington Singer, which saw St. Lawrence. He was quite highly rated before the race, and he set a pretty clear standard, and no one could really get to him, could they? It was quite a nice performance, I thought.
I absolutely agree with you. It's funny, when we looked at the race beforehand, you kind of get drawn to Derby and Jumby because they're once raced, still unknown, still quite lightly raced. What can they be? And it's the excitement that kills us, really, isn't it? That the hope that kills us, that these could be superstars and world beaters. When actually on form, they're the ones that have got to step up. St. Lawrence has been out and ran respectably at Newmarket, respectably at Ascot behind Chindit, and maybe he is just the best horse in the race, and experience with these young horses counted again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to look at it as well. He's dropping back from Group 2 company, lowering in grade. And I mean, his form was pretty good behind Master of the Sea. And you've got to say Roger Varian is a pretty shrewd piece of placing from him. I was pretty taken by that win, actually. I think this is probably his level. I think he's probably much better than this. But yeah, it was a nice display. We also had Sunday's action, which of course main event came from Ripon in the Great St Wilfrid, and Stakston, who won at Ripon a couple of weeks ago, just followed suit, and it was never really in doubt, was it?
No. If ever there was a coup to win a Great St Wilfrid, Tim Easterby has absolutely nailed this. This horse has shown plenty of ability in previous, and perhaps lost his way. I think maybe that's clever campaigning / lost his way, but somehow managed to find his form again when he was really well backed at Ripon recently, as you said. Snuck in at the bottom of the handicap, drawn 17. I can never get the draw right at Ripon. If I back a horse that's drawn low, the high draw is winning. If I vice versa, but Stakston was drawn on the right side, travelled well, and was given a great ride by Jerome Fentiman, and put the race to bed. And it was quite uncompetitive, really. It could have been called the winner from a long way out, but
He certainly could have done. Yeah, it was a really nice performance from the trainer and from the jockey and from the horse. Interesting to see 100-1 shot in second, Royal Residence. Mr. Lupton ran a big race as he always does in third. Very consistent horse. But yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see if Stakston's probably going to be raising the handicap now and he'll stop winning. But he's won what he needed to win. So, job done. Exactly. Finally, got to talk about France because we saw Palace Pier take on a very hot field. A really, really good race that was, the Prix Jacques Le Marois at Deauville. And I have to say, he is a superstar because he beat Alpine Star well. And I think Alpine Star is herself a bit of a superstar. And they finished a long way clear of the rest. Persian King, Romanized, Circus Maximus couldn't get a handle on them. Palace Pier is now unbeaten for John Gosden. The way that he travelled in that race and the way that he handled the softer ground, he just looks like an absolute machine, doesn't he?
He does indeed. Now, I've had to eat a slice of humble pie about this horse because I included him in my 15 to follow on my Betway Insider blog. And the exact quote was, I think he'll fall short of Group 1 class, but there is plenty of ability there. And of course, he's gone on and won 2 Group 1s this season off the back of a handicap victory.
Well, you got half of it right. There's plenty.
I got half of it right that he was a horse to follow, but I didn't get the fact that I didn't think he was going to be Group 1 class. But he was 10-1 for the 2,000 guineas, before they decided he was going to go to the Betway handicap on the same card up at Newcastle instead, which he went and won decisively. Really good run at St James's Palace, and you kind of had to question that. Frankie knew what he had. Frankie knew what he had when he was going there to ride this and to ride Mishrif. We all should have saw it. I know we all mentioned it, but it's a given, isn't it? We're all wiser after the event. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. And maybe that just says that Lord North might not be, if he's gone to ride 2 minutes, so maybe that's looking forward. It might just be all in vain. But yeah, let's take nothing away from Palace Pier. Superb on the day.
Yeah, very exciting horse in the making. Breeders' Cup Mile, a potential possibility for him at the end of the season?
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, the potential clash in the QE2 with Mahadha, Siskin, Kamiko, last year's winner King of Change, that could be a really, really feisty race. We've said it loads of times this season. You want all the good horses to come and go in the same races, and usually you get a few dodge and go here and there and t'other. And you're seeing a few horses not going to France now, so there's a couple not going this weekend because they're going to York instead. I think Supremacy was going to go for the pre-morning and is now not because of quarantine rulings and whatnot. So we might just, as racing fans, get these clashes that we want, as we got in the Sussex with Siskin, Mahadha, Kamiko, and Circus Maximus, and we might get that same sort of feel again in the QE2. So let's focus on QE2 first, and then Breeders' Cup afterwards. But that could be some feisty clash, Bully.
It could well be, and there's another feisty clash on Wednesday in the Jubmont featuring High Arth, Lord North, Magical, and a couple of others, including, of course, Kamiko. So that looks like a really, really hot race. But we'll be discussing that later in the week. For now, Chad, thank you very much. Lovely to talk to you, as always, on a Monday, looking back at the weekend stuff. And yeah, we'll see you all very soon at home.